Several times each week I'm out. I'm on the country back roads, the woodland trails, the mountain passes, the gravel roads and lanes throughout Ontario. And I'm searching constantly for the landscape image, for the composition, for the vista, if you will, or maybe the image that kind of defines who I am as a landscape photographer. I don't know. And yesterday was no exception to that rule. I was out in exactly the same location I am today. Right now, we're at the base of Blue Mountain here in Ontario, and the Niagara Escarpment. It's a beautiful location. It's a location I am familiar with. And yesterday, I was doing yet one more scouting hike along this trail. The clouds yesterday, they hung just kissing the top of the trees. A beautiful deep grey backdrop as we looked upwards into the heavens from the base of the escarpment. It was gorgeous. About 2 days ago, we'd had a very severe, massive kind of ice storm here in Ontario, and everything, all the trees were just covered, laden with beautiful glistening ice, and it was absolutely perfect. The atmosphere was like I've never seen before here. It was stunningly beautiful. Usually on a scouting slash training hike, I don't carry photography gear. Again, I'm looking for the composition, I'm looking for the area that I may want to go back to. So unfortunately, I had nothing with me yesterday as far as my photography pack, which I have today. So I did make a point of saying to myself, tomorrow morning, bright and early, we're going to be back in the same location. Hopefully, this cloud layer will hang basically where it is for the next 24 hours anyhow. The ice will stay on the trees. I don't know. This morning, the cloud layer, the ceiling if you will, is probably 2,000 feet higher than it was yesterday. It's definitely not hanging on top of the trees. In the higher elevations, the ice is still there. I can see it from below, glistening on the trees, the white sheet, if you will, across the horizon. But the temperatures are rising quickly today. And here, at the bottom of the escarpment, it's definitely above freezing, and all the ice has actually melted already off the trees. At the higher elevations, and we have about maybe a 12 to 1,500 foot elevation gain here this morning on this particular hike that we're doing. So when we get to the higher levels, as I say, right now the ice is still on the trees, but it won't last long. 2-4 hours, I don't know. The temperature is increasing, and right now I believe it's just slightly above freezing, maybe plus 1 degree Celsius. Hey, Gary here with Gary Clayton Photography. Welcome to my channel. You know what? We are going back where we were yesterday. I know the conditions are not the same, but either way, it promises to be an interesting day. Woodland images. I think that is probably the theme for today. You know what? Before the day progresses too far and the temperature warms too much, let's get into this hike and let's get to the top of this escarpment. Let's go. Wow. As our ascent up Blue Mountain and the Niagara Escarpment continues, the temperature is actually dropping quite quickly, which is good for us today. Down at the bottom of this hill, the temperature was around freezing, maybe +1. But up here, only about 30 minutes into the hike, the temperature is now about -2. The snow is staying frozen to the trees. This is a good sign. It's perfect for what we're looking for as we ascend higher. So the temperature is such that the snow is not melting off the trees, which is going to give us the image, or help give us the image that we're looking for. So yeah, that is perfect news. I was a little afraid this morning that the temperature was going to rise too much, but I also knew as we ascended the escarpment and Blue Mountain, the temperatures would actually fall. So yeah, seems to be working out just fine as far as the temperature is concerned anyhow. Okay, let's keep going. And as I said before, let's get to the summit of Blue Mountain. Perfect. Okay. First composition of the morning. So just take a little look at what we're looking at. We have a row of beautiful evergreen Christmas trees, if you will, some rocks right in the foreground, beautiful fresh snow. The temperature is perfect at about -2, -3. I'm on the tripod. I'm down low. Now, if you recall from my last video I posted where I was in South Carolina, that particular video, it was a maiden voyage for my Fujifilm X-T100. This is the second time I've used that camera. I shot a speed of 1/180th of a second. Beautiful, nice little image, captured in the bag. You know what? It's just a pretty little composition. There's nothing award-winning about this composition, but you know, as I was climbing up the escarpment, I noticed it, so it caught my eye, and I thought, you know, I'm going to take the time and set up right here because I just liked it. Okay. Oh, it was a little precarious getting up here, but to kind of climb over this somewhat frozen ditch slash stream, but the water's running down there, so we have to be a little bit careful. But anyhow, yeah, absolutely beautiful so far this morning. Lots of snow and ice on the trees, so the morning promises to be interesting at the very least. Let's pack up from here. Let's continue down the trail. Oh, by the way, if we did get something from that shot, I'm going to pop it up right now for you to look at. I say this probably every time, but it's true. Right this minute, there's really nowhere else I'd rather be. This is absolutely beautiful. I'm so lucky to be here, and appreciative too. Yes, sir. Wow. Okay, let's get going. Now, right here, we have reached on this kind of no winter maintenance country dirt gravel road, but we have reached the summit of the Niagara Escarpment, or Blue Mountain, and as you can see, indeed, the trees are totally covered with the same ice, frost, and snow that they were yesterday. The only difference is the cloud is a good, 1,000 to 2,000 feet higher. So the cloud base is not intermingling with these trees like it was yesterday, which, as I said before, yesterday was so amazingly beautiful. Anyhow, we've reached the top. By the way, I did get the drone up for a minute or two. Just take a look at this footage. Now, over on this side, or here in Ontario, first of all, if you don't know yet, and that's only because you're not watching my videos if you don't know, but the Bruce Trail comes right through here. Now this right here is one of the crossing styes for the Bruce Trail. This particular piece here, this little section here, is actually closed. There's a sign, and that's closed in the winter months because I believe there's an organization that does snowshoeing through there, which is a paid activity. So I guess they just don't want people walking through there for free on the Bruce Trail. But that in itself, right there, is an absolutely beautiful little image. So you know what? I am going to use my Fujifilm X-T100. I am going to grab a quick snapshot of that, just a quick handheld. I'm not setting up on the tripod or anything. Now, as I've walked along the trail for another maybe 1.5, maybe 2 kilometers, it does indeed get wider. But a little rule that I always have is look everywhere. Look up, look down, look left, look right. And very importantly, take the time to look behind you. Now, right here, the trail dips below me. The trees much closer together, looping down, sagging down, if you will, with the weight of the ice and the snow. Absolutely beautiful. Or at least I thought so, or I think so. We're set up on the tripod. I'm using my Fujifilm. I've got my 15 to 45 mil kit lens on there. I'm taking one single shot. Well, actually 2 shots. I'm going to one stop under. I'm taking another shot. I'm going to one stop over, or thereabouts. I'm taking another shot. Hey, now I realize somewhere inside the brain of that Fujifilm X-T100, it allows me to bracket my shots at whatever intervals I like, be it 1/3 of a stop, 2/3, 1 stop, 2 stops, whatever. I haven't got there. It was just as easy right now for me to take 3 shots and select them manually at 1 stop over, 1 stop under, and 1 stop at what my camera tells me is correctly exposed. Possible HDR image, but it gives me that data. Don't forget, when you're shooting in snow, especially like this, take at least 1 or 2 shots at a stop, 2/3 of a stop, 1 stop, maybe 1 1/3 stop over. Your camera does want to make your snow gray. Keep that in mind. It's much easier to keep your snow white if you shoot at a stop over. Much easier. Okay, just a little point. If we got anything from that image, poof, there it is now. Okay, you know what? Today is just becoming more and more and more interesting. And I think what we're going to do next is we're going to head down this little section. Then we're going to take a trail to the right that I know of called the Castle Glen Trail. That trail we've been down before, again, primarily looking for some kind of woodland image. Again, with this snow and ice laden on the trees. Absolutely beautiful. Let's pack up from here. Let's get going. Yet another beautifully stunning location this morning. Just down, maybe a kilometer down the Castle Glen Trail. Beautiful, beautiful woodland. Impact snow on the side of the trunks of the trees. Absolutely gorgeous. All the branches laden with snow and ice. You know what? It's really, really, really beautiful. Again, we're set up on the tripod. We're using the Fujifilm, the X-T100. We're taking a single image. There's my image. Actually, for whatever reason, I have the camera set on taking 2 images at a time, but I think they're both at the same exposure. I have a lot of work to do yet with this Fujifilm mirrorless camera as far as getting to know my way around it well. We're going to take one more shot. There. We're going to go to what we believe is about 1 stop under. And again, I've got to get used to those buttons. I've just got to roll that button and not press it. There we go. So One stop under. Let's go back to what the camera tells me is correctly exposed, and let's go to what the camera tells me is one stop over, or thereabouts. Hey, again, a possible HDR image? I don't know. And I know it's quite evident, and I must apologize. As a supposedly professional photographer, I am supposed to know my way around cameras. And believe me, I do, but the cameras I use, my Canon DSLRs. Again, the Fujifilm was a brand new camera to me, and I haven't had a lot of time to go through all the functions, the menus, what all the buttons do. I'm simply, with my knowledge of the exposure triangle, I'm simply setting ISO, aperture and shutter speed to give me an exposure. Everything else is trial and error. I am going to spend more time as the time becomes available in the studio, and I'm going to get to know that camera much better. But for now, we're having a lot of fun, and it is a learning curve. You know what? It's been a blast this morning. Thank you for joining me. Please, if you like what we're doing, subscribe. Leave a comment. I will answer all comments. Share. Give me a like. Let's sit back. Let's have a cup of coffee, which is what I always do, and let's look at some of the images we captured today. We will see you next time. Thank you for watching. Bye-bye.